is the 77 WABC minicast.
John Franco. Johnny, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. How are you? Long time no speak. How are you?
No, it's great to talk to you. You know, I saw you yesterday. You were on Fox and Friends. That's my type of guy, not CNN. Yeah. You were on Fox and Friends talking about baseball. And I got to tell you, John, you look great. You must be going to that gym still by, what was that gym we used to go to by the amusement park on the Bell Parkway? What was that called again?
Oh, that was a...
Nellie Bly's.
Yeah, it was Gold's Gym. Gold's Gym.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you look great, though. You're keeping yourself in shape, huh?
Yes. I, my wife, Rose, she works out quite a bit, so she makes sure that her husband stays in shape. But I do. I mean, in my building, I have a gym in my building, and I go down. I try to go down at least 5 days a week, to do something. When I see some of my former teammates and I see some of the way they look, I don't want to look like that.
I know, it's so good when it's like with me, it's like high school. You with the former Met teammates, and you look great. And they're like 50 pounds overweight. And, I remember the days when I lived in Fidei, and I would walk my son Gabriel, who's now 17, over to that field, that artificial turf field down there by the World Trade Center every morning to camp. And like clockwork, we can bet when John Franco was taking his little doggy for a walk, and it was Gabriel was like, "Oh my God, is that guy from the Mets going to be out there again today, Daddy?" And I said, "You know he is, and you never disappointed." And you were great to my son, but you love New York, whether it's downtown Manhattan, whether it's Brooklyn, Staten Island. You still love New York, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the place, man. Born and raised, best city in the world. I've been playing baseball. I was fortunate enough to go all over the country in some cities, major leagues and in the minor leagues. And there's no place like New York, that's for sure. On any given day, you can go out and meet someone. Great restaurants. People are great. And people tell me, "Why don't you move to Florida?" And I say, "Why?" I said, "Well, my friends and family are here. My kids are here. What do I got to go to Florida for?" Right.
Just go down a couple. I was just in Fort Lauderdale last week, but then come back here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's a good place to visit. I mean, I used to hate spring training. Spring training was too long, 6 weeks in Florida. So, 3 weeks was long enough for me.
Right. That's enough. I agree with you. So before we get to this Met team, I just became aware of this morning, John, because I'm old enough to remember 9/11. I was on the air that morning with Don Imus talking about the Giants football game. They lost the night before. It was the opening Monday night game of the season, September 10th, 2001. Giants, who had just been blown out by the Ravens in the Super Bowl, took on Brian Griese and the Broncos in Denver, and they got blown out again. And they actually flew back on Tuesday morning early, and their late great coach, Jim Bossel, told me that as their plane was pulling up to the taxi there at Newark, that United Flight 11 was actually taking off. I think it was 11. It may have been 91. The flight that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. But my point is, when I think back to that tragic day, which is still going on, people are still dying. It wasn't a one-day event. And I think of you. I think of Bobby Valentine. Yes, Mike Piazza's home run. But I think of you because you lost a lot of friends, a lot, in that building that day. I'll never forget you wearing the hat in the game against the Braves. And it looks like, thanks to our mutual friend Frank Siller and Tunnel to Towers, that Fox Nation has a brand new special coming out on baseball's impact after 9/11. I haven't seen it. My hope is, John, you play a major part in this.
Yeah, well, it was how baseball helped heal, during 9/11. I think they released it yesterday, Sid, the documentary. They did an outstanding job in it. And yes, I'm in it. My teammates are in it. The Yankees are in it. Basically saying how, we, the baseball players and baseball itself, helped the city heal for a little bit, and the things that we did during 9/11. So yesterday I went on Fox to talk about it, just like I'm talking about it with you. And, it's just 25 years already. So it's, you look out the window and it's like, holy cow, 25 years already. But, the Met organization, to this day, we still do a lot for 9/11. Jay Horowitz, who
love him.
He continues to make sure on 9/11 that someone or a couple of players, former or current, if they're around, represent, that we go to firehouses and talk to the firemen and thank them. The ironic thing is you go to the firehouse now, some of the kids who are babies whose fathers were unfortunately lost in 9/11, they are now firemen following in their father's footsteps.
Wow.
So it's kind of ironic when you go there and you see photos of the firemen that have passed away, and then their kids are in the same firehouse and have the same badge number. So it's kind of bittersweet to go there and talk and hang out, have some breakfast, have some lunch. We even did a run with one of the firehouses. I don't want to say which one; they might get in trouble for letting us ride along. But we had fun doing that. But Jay makes it a mission to make sure that the organization does not forget what happened that day.
25 years. I don't know. Yeah. We'll get to the team, but certain days it feels like yesterday. I can see the buildings falling. I can. I had a friend who died in Windows on the World too, and it feels like yesterday. And certain days it feels like 50 years ago. Now, I will never ask you to get political because you're a baseball player and Democrats love you, Republicans love you. I will. I can't stand the fact that this mayor is going to be down there come 9/11 for 25 years. He's the last guy I'd pick, just so you know. But
I've seen you, I said, so you could do the talking for some of us.
Good. I'm glad I talk for a lot of you guys. Thank you. But for you, I know you said you can't believe it's been 25 years, but does it seem like 25 years on most days? Longer, shorter?
It seems shorter, It seems shorter. So when you look up at 25 years, it's like, wow, it's gone by so fast, and I live downtown, so I've seen from ground zero from when they started building to what it turned out now, and then the area is beautiful. What they did, the way they transformed it down there, the fountains. That area right now is probably the safest area in the country with all the police and anti-terrorist police officers there, and the museum is. I don't know if you had a chance to see the museum. The museum is wonderful. They did a great job. And I think it's gone by fast, but I understand what you're saying. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, and you think about those poor people who just went to work to put food on the table for their kids. And one of the things I said yesterday was that the police and firemen in this city, when most people are running out of buildings, they're running in, and you can't put a dollar sign on that. So, you respect. That's why I see, again, walking my dog in the neighborhood, and I see the fire trucks. I go up to them and I talk to them, and I say hello to them, and
they love you.
When I see them shopping in the store, I want to know which guy's cooking that night and what's the specialty and stuff. So
that's awesome.
And the other thing, which I don't know, I'm sure you know if you don't know, but on Saturday night, James Dolan was kind enough to have a thank you appreciation night for the police department.
Yes.
And it's going to be at Madison Square Garden. So I'm going to be one of the presenters of the acts there.
Oh,
so
great.
It's going to be a nice night to thank them and appreciate them for what they've done. And, with all this talk about defunding and people not respecting the police, this is our way and James Dolan's way, I guess, to say thank you to the police. And from what I understand, there's going to be 16,000 already attending the event.
Well, that's gorgeous. That's great. That is great. Here he is, Mr. New York, John Franco. You just heard it, okay? I mean, people will talk to John about baseball all day, every day. He just mentioned the cops and the firemen. And I made the point to shake the hands of almost every TSA worker at the airport. We went to Florida last week. I was at Fort Lauderdale. I was at Kennedy. I was at MacArthur Airport, like I would do with a cop or a firefighter or a serviceman. All these people, they're just wonderful people, and they get no respect from our politicians, from lots of people who live here. New Yorkers are the worst. Sorry, John. Great city, best city in the world, but horrible people. Okay, so it's good to know that there's guys like you still out there. So tell me about this team. They're going to take the field in about 4.5 hours. A lot of familiar faces are gone. Pete's in Baltimore, and Jeff's out of here, and Edwin's going to close game for the team that just won the last 2 World Series. It almost seems unfair. A lot of new faces. 3/4 of the infield brand new, right, with Polanco at first, Simeon at second, and Bichette at third. But still, seems like expectations, John Franco, are pretty high. What do you think?
Yeah. So I went down to spring training for a week to work with the team, big league guys and some of the minor league guys. Carlos Mendoza, who I love, and was kind enough to invite me the last couple of years. So I've been going down. I like this team. I kind of like it better than last year's team, and my reason for it, I think, when you lose Pete, you mentioned Pete, and you lose Nemo. That's 65 home runs between both of them, over 100 RBIs. But you brought in guys like Bo Bichette, who's a hitting machine with men on base, and that's something that we didn't have, a clutch hitter and with men on base. Yep. You brought in Simeon, a Gold Glove second baseman, who had a nice spring, and hopefully that'll have a nice impact with the team, his veteran leadership. And first base is a Polanco, who is another a professional hitter, even though he hasn't played first base much. It'll be interesting to see what that transpires during the year, but I like the infield. Obviously, Lindor is a superstar, and he's our leader at shortstop. And then, what can you say about Soto? But the guy that really impressed me in spring training was Luis Roberts.
Yeah.
For the first couple of weeks, they kept him out of the lineup because when he came over from the White Sox, the Mets do a full evaluation of your body, and they found that his lower extremities were really weak, and that's maybe one of the reasons why he was kept getting hurt in Chicago. So they kept him out, and they kept him in the backfields, and he was just raking in the backfields. I saw him hit 4 home runs one day, three against Luke Weaver, 1 against Singer, 1 against Minaya. And he's a tremendous outfielder. Yep. So they brought him along slowly, and I think he's going to be a big part of the team because he's a guy who can hit 30 home runs easily. So the combination of those four guys that they brought in, all veteran guys. Bo was in the World Series last year. He could hit 25 home runs. Polanco could hit 25 home runs. Center fielder could hit 30 home runs. And then you got, Soto and Lindor who can hit 30-plus home runs. So you're going to have the lineup's going to be a little bit longer, I think a little bit better. Soto's going to be in left field, and the kid Binge that they just put on the roster had a great spring.
Yeah, he's a right fielder now.
Yeah, he's a pure hitter. But I think the real interesting part about this team is our catcher. If Alvarez can stay healthy, he's another kid that can hit 25 to 30 home runs. If he can stay healthy, which he looked great, he lost about 15 pounds, came into camp. I think the lineup is going to be outstanding. Now you talk about the pitching. When you have a guy like Peralta, who's a leader, guy is a wonderful guy, always smiling on his face, good clubhouse guy. So you have him leading the pitching staff, and our pitching staff is going to be deep this year. We're 6 deep in starters. Well, even though they put Minaya in the bullpen. But then in the minor leagues, we have Jonah Tong, who still needs some seasoning, and which I think was a good move that they sent him down because he needs some polish up some stuff. But the sleeper at all of this is Christian Scott. Christian Scott was with us a couple of years ago, and then he wound up hurting his elbow, Tommy John. This kid is a throwback to old days. He's got the mean look on his face. He don't give a damn who's hitting. He's come back for Tommy John, throwing 94 to 96. Another guy that they put in AAA just to get some innings in. He'll probably be, if I had to guess, he'll probably be the first guy called up if anyone does get hurt.
Okay.
And I think the bullpen is better, even though we lost Diaz, who was tremendous. Williams is a quality, good closer. He's been doing it for a long time.
Well, he was until the guy who ruined his career was Pete Alonso.
Yeah, exactly.
In Milwaukee, that was it.
Yeah,